Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Pokemon, the podcast where we talk about everything and anything Pokemon. And this finally comes around that I get a chance to talk about my first initial impressions of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I didn't want to title it Diamond and Pearl, review or whatever. First of all, I did not finish the full, extent of the game. I did finish the story, and I haven't really delved much into the post-game. Everything I'm about to talk about is really just going to be my overall impressions of what that section that I have played. And I think there is one part of the story that I did not complete because I thought the story was going to force me to go there anyway. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll just come back to this later. I don't have to do this right now. And unfortunately, it did not. I guess I didn't realize that it wasn't part of the main story. It's Iron Island, and I didn't get my Riolu egg. I believe that's where I get Riolu. So that part I'm going to, leave out of my conversation because I still haven't gone back and completed it. But, I'm just going to talk about how I felt overall about the game, the main core part of the game, and the potential of some of the things that at least the underground and somewhat of will I continue playing this game, and then maybe answer the question is this game worth buying? Keep in mind that Diamond and Pearl does kind of hold a somewhat significant part of my life in the fact that I was in college. I was kind of out of Pokemon for a loop. I was really into Halo, and I still am. Pokemon and Halo are my top two video game franchises, and I don't think I could ever choose between the two. But when I was in college, I finally got broadband internet because that was offered in my dorm room. So I was like, sweet, I'll play some Halo online. It's my first time kind of getting online and playing with people and getting to clan invites and all this stuff. And I took a step back from Pokemon without really realizing it. And then, my third year in college, my roommate had Pokemon Pearl, and he was working on the live decks. And when I noticed it, I was like, oh, cool. I haven't played this game. Let me go pick this game up. And I picked up Pokemon Diamond, and I played it. And then he helped me get my live decks going. And that was, the first game that I kind of fully completed the Pokedex and got one of every Pokemon, the live decks. And so, playing the remake version of it, it was very cool to kind of be like, oh, that's right, I remember this story, I remember this part, I remember going to the lakes, I remember, having to fight this trainer. So it was very refreshing, and it had that nostalgic effect on me. And then it did remind me of some of the parts that I also was like, oh, gosh, I figured out, I know now why I completely blacked this part out. So I'm going to kind of maybe somewhat compare it to what I remember, and talk about just my overall impressions of, again, Brilliant Diamond. I did not play the Pearl version. I did not play Shining Pearl. I have it. I may or may not open it. I'm not completely sure. But it's kind of weird that we still have these two version exclusives. I'm going to kind of go on a slight side tangent on here. I get at the very beginning of this entire franchise, and even kind of leading up to a good chunk of maybe halfway of its lifetime, that we get these two version exclusives. It made sense that we want to connect with other people on our adventure, that we want to trade. Oh, cool, you saw a Growlithe, I have a Vulpix. You don't have a Vulpix, you can't find a Vulpix, here, let's trade one over. And just kind of battle each other, with the Pokemon that we caught on our journey, and it'd be somewhat, probably, it may be different just because of those version exclusives. Just hooking up to those link cables with the Game Boys, and I get it. It sold well. The idea was done very well. The concept is great. But nowadays, you can kind of do everything on your own. You don't necessarily need a partner or a friend or anything to really trade or do anything. Let's kind of slightly exclude this remake right now, but you have Pokemon Home, you have Pokemon Go, you can easily trade things, catch things, and just kind of trade them through into your version without having to get, call a buddy and say, hey, I need this Pokemon. You can do everything on your own, especially with the global trading service. It's very convenient for a lot of people to complete what they need to, or to get the Pokemon they need to, with what's already been established. So it is kind of weird that we still have these remakes that do version exclusives when they could have easily just done a third, they could have just done a remake of Platinum, and Platinum could have had everything. But I don't know. Do I want them to continue? Do I want them to stop? I would want to say that if we are going to continue to have version exclusives, I want I want them to start adding exclusive story beats to these versions, as opposed to just having exclusive Pokemon. Like, I don't think exclusive Pokemon makes my adventure or journey, that vastly different, right? If you take the Dialga and Palkia apart, literally it's just the Pokemon. It has nothing to do with the story leading up to it, because it does talk about its power. Sure, maybe one is time, one is space, but that barely plays a part into that whole beat. And there's nothing like impactful about it. Like, I feel like if you had changed the story entirely, maybe theme it around time versus theme it around space, and I don't know, just add more visual to that, or kind of maybe add I don't know, maybe slow down time in certain areas, like make it look like it was slowing down time, or in some place, if you're playing Shining Pearl, like maybe I guess go into a different world, like a very temporary different, like maybe the HQ of Galactic, Team Galactic, but like the rooms were very different because you're in a different space, a different time, like kind of multiverse kind of thing. I hopefully you get what I'm trying to get at, but like, it just, I need it to be more than just the Pokemon. Even if you look at Ramana's Park and like look at the exclusive legendary, okay, so what? I can't get that legendary Pokemon for now. Give me a month. I'm going to get access to Pokemon Home. I can just easily just trade it into a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl game, or Brilliant Diamond game, and then that's it. I don't need to get this other version. So, I don't know. I think Sword and Shield kind of started maybe that idea, hopefully, for Game Freak, because we had a version exclusive gym leader, and then they also partake in the tournament that you would have to fight them again later on, and that's kind of cool because that's a whole different a theme. That's a whole different entity there, as opposed to just replacing the Pokemon itself. Like, if that theme wasn't there, if that typing wasn't there, right? Because I'm talking about, like, is it B and Alistair? You could have put Alistair maybe with fighting Pokemon. That doesn't really change the game. You just changed a character, a name, really, and they still have fighting Pokemon. You're still fighting the same type. But the fact that they put Alistair with Ghost Pokemon, it's like, oh, now I have a different. I have to go into this game differently, or this gym differently than I did B, because I can't just necessarily use the same type. Maybe, like, it varies. So I want them to do more like story stuff, though. Like, make me go to a different route that I couldn't go in the other game. Make me face new people overall that I couldn't face in the other game. I want a different new adventure, or at least a significant chunk of that adventure to be very different. I think that's what's needed for these version exclusives. Okay, I'm going to get off that soapbox a little bit. Let's start talking about Brilliant Diamond. So, I'll start with my positives. I'll start with the pros. It is a beautiful looking game. Like, it is so much more artistic, bright, colorful than I guess I initially expected. Like, the chibi art style grew on me. Now, I'll admit, though, slightly negative here, is that it doesn't really work for a lot of characters, especially some gym leaders that you meet along the way. But otherwise, just like your main character and just like the other people that you interact with, it's so wholesome, and it's very cute, and it just kind of puts you kind of into like a kid mode almost, where it's like, yeah, it's like kind of watching Saturday morning cartoons, like just that art style, and you're really into it because you just kind of reliving some memories. So I think it really worked well for this game. The water is gorgeous. Like, I don't understand. Sometimes it's so weird to see it, because the water effects, or at least the texture, the visual of how they did the water in this game, it's so weird that I'm talking a lot about water. It's almost surreal. It's almost so real that it doesn't even match the rest of the aesthetic of the game. Like, it is so good looking, and I don't understand why they couldn't really do that in other recent Pokemon games. I don't know. It's a little weird for me. It seems a little off, but otherwise, like, everything just looks great. The trainers, whether they're still images or not, like, they look crisp. The Pokemon look magnificent. the attacks look pretty clean. Like, everything visually is a 10 out of 10 here. There is not a single thing visually that is an eyesore that I just hated. It never like bothered me at all. Like, I could not complain a single thing about the game visually. So that they knocked it out of the park with that, and it was very consistent. Again, couple of characters really weird to see him in chibi form or whatever that form, that art style is called. But I mean, it's not like the end of the world. It doesn't. It's like you kind of react to it initially the first time for like a few seconds, and then you just kind of forget it, and then you go over and you continue on. Okay, now. I guess another possible would be the Cynthia battle. So good, so much harder than I recall, because I get that Cynthia, for the Pokemon community, has been like a very significant challenge, and for a lot of people it was a very hard challenge. I don't remember having a difficult time with Cynthia. That never stuck to me. I don't recall like having to use so many revives or full restores or restarting the game over and over again. I don't recall that. This one though, I really sweated. Like I think it only took me like my third or fourth time to finally beat her, but I really had to think ahead of my moves and how I wanted to use them. And, like, for instance, I used a Lopunny, a level 50-something Lopunny with Baby Doll Eyes. I used Baby Doll Eyes 3 times. Never knew that move existed until my Lopunny learned it. And I kept it on. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll leave it on there. It's a Fairy-type move. Why not? And then when I read it, I was like, oh, this might come in handy. But I read it, like, when I was going through the Elite Four. So I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was convenient. And it helped. It came in clutch a couple times. So that battle, I think, if it doesn't recreate that same nostalgic memory for you, because it didn't for me, I think it actually makes it even more impactful. Like this, it's like now I'm going to remember Cynthia. It's like, oh, man, you gave me a run for my money. Like, this battle was really good. And I found out later on that, after I beat the game, that all these the Elite Four, including Cynthia, are all, perfect. Like they're competitive ready. And I'm like, oh crap, really? Like maxed out IVs or EVs or whatever, and they have particular moves to help them. Like, man, that's intense. Like, and it felt good. Like the Elite Four and Cynthia felt good to battle, and it was challenging, and I like that. I like that experience. So they get 10 out of 10 for doing the finale of the game very, very, very well. What else can I say that's positive about the game? I think, unfortunately, that's where it sticks with me. The story is the same. They didn't really change anything much about the story. So there's nothing really significant there. When I was going through it again, I was like, oh, this is kind of... It's so weird that the story is a little... has some pacing problems, I guess I'm going to say. And so there's nothing really outstanding for me in the story parts of it. I think that's where I'm going to end my positive, is the visual, and then the finale with the Elite Four and Cynthia. Hopefully I'll come up with some others along the way. I mean, the Pokemon look great, and I kind of already mentioned that with the visuals. The contests are fun. I kind of enjoyed doing the contest in this remake than I do recall, doing in the initial game in regular Diamond. I'm trying to think what else is there. That's going to be pretty much it. So unfortunately, I do have, I guess, a couple more negatives than anything. The gym leaders are still kind of forgettable in their battles. I can't really tell you in detail one whole team. The problem is, and this is not just a gym leader issue, this is just a trainer issue, they use the same Pokemon over and over and over and over and over again. So many Geodudes, so many Ponytas, so many Zubats, so many Bidoofs, Magikarps, Goldings, Poliwags. I just got tired of just wanting to battle. One, mainly because they were just repeating the same Pokemon. Like, you don't need 6 Magikarps. You don't need 3 Geodudes and a Graveler. like tough, like shake it up a bit, like throw in an Onyx. Like you have so like what at that point 400 something Pokemon. Use some variety. Like I kind of don't understand. Like I get maybe the whole faithful remake concept of like, oh, we don't want to change a single thing. I guarantee you that 6 Magikarp trainer, please, you could have thrown him at least a Goldeen in there somewhere, and he would have been more, remembering. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? He would have been more memorable than any other trainer. Like, oh god, it was just agonizing to see. Like, I love Pokemon, I love Ponyta, but this game almost made me want to hate Ponyta just because I saw it so many times, and there's no challenge in that. It's like if I know you got 6 Magikarps or 5 Geodudes, I'm just gonna spam the same attack every time. Like, I don't know. It's just, I really wish they had taken their time. That Ilka, right, the developers of this one, could have taken their time to kind of refresh the game a little bit more, and then just like instead of doing a complete, copy one to one on everything, which then brings me to my next kind of complaint is that the trainers, there are so many trainer battles. Not enjoy, like if I was complaining about the repeatable Pokemon, think about how many trainers have also so many repeatable Pokemon. It is just agonizing. I'm going to use that word again. It's just, and it's frustrating because I get off a battle that has 6 Magikarp. I go into another battle, it's got 4 Magikarp. I go to the battle after that. Now we got 4 Magikarp and a Goldeen. Oh, way to go. Spice it up a bit. But then the next trainer, you got like 2 Goldeen. It's like, come on. Like, where's all the Gen 4, Gen 3, Gen 2 Pokemon? I know there's more Pokemon here than just the Kanto Pokemon, but they didn't do anything to make it interesting. And as I unfortunately for me, like, I'm the kind of player that has to play against everybody that I see. I do not remember feeling this way for Sword and Shield. I do not remember feeling this way for Sun and Moon. Like, I was fine. Yeah, let's go straight talk to them. Let's go battle them. Let's go do this. This one, I was like, oh god, I really just want to skip this part. Like, I see the route. I can go around there, and I can do that. I can do this. But I know I'm not gonna get my levels if I don't battle. So I had to like really force myself to do a lot of those battles, and it almost made like. I could have beaten the game sooner, which would allow me to get to the post game sooner. But like after an hour of straight battling, you go to 2 routes and it's just all battles. I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna take a break from this game. I can't do it. Like, I'm putting it down. I'm gonna go play something else because I don't want to do the battles anymore. It's sad that a Pokemon game does not encourage me or does not motivate me personally to do any more battles. It discourages me too. So unfortunately, they kind of did not hit it with that part of the game. Walking Pokemon, they're walking behind you. It was great to have that. I think that's always like a feature that everyone always loves to have, that every Pokemon fan wants in the next Pokemon game. But it's just it's so bland. There's nothing, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of life into it. And Sword and Shield, I think, was a little bit better. And I think kind of the part of the reason also was that they had a lot more free space to kind of roam around. But with Brilliant Diamond, there's a lot of like going through corners and hallways and ledges, and your Pokemon just get stuck. And it's like, well, I saw you for 2 seconds. You're back in your Pokeball. Oh, here you go. What? But I'm turning a corner. You're going back into your Pokeball. Like, it was just, why do we even have following Pokemon anymore? And then it would get in your way, too. Like, I thought it would be like, oh, I'm going to go back and just kind of go through. Or maybe just the Pokemon would just automatically switch spots with me or something. But nope. They're like a wall, just blocking you. And you got to push through them. You got to push them back until they finally cave in and go back into your Pokeball. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like they kind of tagged it on and was like, yeah, we definitely have to have this in there. And then that's it. They didn't really do anything to polish it. I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee probably had the best kind of form of Pokemon walking. Each Pokemon had its different unique walk set. Now, to be fair, they only had to deal with like still only a third of the Pokedex. But it was just, I could have been okay without that feature in this one. Which then also, kind of on the same topic, you as your main character walking around is so rough. Like, I get it. We got the 2D, sprites almost just becoming 3D. That's it. That's all you did was just kind of moved it to 3D. But it was just, I would be like maybe a block away from a corner, but I would still get stuck because it registers me as still, hitting that corner. So it was just very hard to navigate through tunnels, through certain like narrow routes. And again, it was very frustrating. Add that on with the Pokemon trainer battles, and it was just like, yep, I'm done with this game. Like, I forced myself to get through the story. I really did. And unfortunately, that's not what I like out of my experience with a Pokemon game. Did I still enjoy playing Brilliant Diamond? Mostly, yes. But I guess this comes down to my next question of, would I recommend this game? I think if you're looking for strictly the nostalgia trip of, Gen 4 was your very first generation, was your very first Pokemon games, and you fell in love with that, by all means, go for the remake. Play it. You'll have that same exact feeling. But I think if you're looking for a new sort of feel to the game, a new experience, something very refreshing, you might not get what you're asking for, at least when it comes to the main story. Now, I did mention I did do a Pokemon contest, which it was fun. It was more fun than I remember it. So if Pokemon contest were your thing, you could maybe get a kick out of that. If we talk a little bit about the Underground, I don't want to say I don't care for the Underground. It's just, I guess my time is just more fast paced, and it just doesn't allow me time to enjoy the Underground as it should. They did obviously spice it up with the open areas, where you get to encounter, kind of not necessarily harder Pokemon, but just Pokemon that you wouldn't encounter out in the wild. And the rooms are pretty cool. I like the settings. I like that there's overworld Pokemon, but I don't have the time to just sit down and run through a lot of that stuff. I don't feel like searching for a lot of Diglets. I don't feel like searching for fossils and doing the hammer thing. It is just not me. I haven't really, to be completely honest, I have not created my own secret base. I haven't done that yet. I haven't claimed my Sinnoh starter statues that the Pokemon Company had sent out through a mystery gift. So, the Underground, I think they've definitely changed it up and refreshed it with the open areas, but at the end of the day, still kind of digging for shards and fossils and whatnot just isn't, I don't know, this doesn't sound like the most exciting thing for me, and it's not something that I'm wanting to pursue initially. Like, I definitely want to do this. No, it's more like I'll kind of get to it when I get to it. And I think that's pretty much it. That's all I can really say about my initial impressions of Diamond and Pearl. Is it worth the $60? That's a very hard judgment call to make. I think it kind of still goes in hand to hand with the other question of, should I get this game? Again, if you're looking for that nostalgia trip, do it. Otherwise, I think if you haven't picked up Sword and Shield, pick up that game instead. Or, if you're waiting for Arceus, just save your money until then and get Arceus. Like, I think there are other venues that you can, venture forth when it comes to Pokemon, rather than going back to a remake that I just think that was not done as well as it could have. Oh, which reminds me of another con, the Pokedex. Like, there's no back button to that thing. So, like, I still have to go through all the menus. And if I skip one, it's like, oh, gotta go through them all again. It's just, that's another irritating thing. But the thing is, I never used it. And I thought, like, I would have to go through the Pokedex to use the HMs. Nope, don't have to. I can just go up to the rock, keep pressing A, say, yeah, I want to. And it brings out the Bibarel and it does the strength or the surf or whatever. Like, you don't need your Pokedex, which is a shame. Like, I would think that if you're going to revive that feature, make it more involved than just, yeah, remember this from Gen 4? It's still there. It's there in the corner. But you can put it away if you want. I don't remember. I think it was less than a handful of times that I actually had the Pokedex app out. So that was a little bit disappointing as well. Like I said, I still kind of enjoyed the game for what it was, for the visuals of it. It was fun, again, to see a lot of Sinnoh Pokemon, some Pokemon getting spotlights that normally wouldn't. So, and the whole Elite Four experience was really, really good. So I wouldn't mind having to go through them again, which I think you can, and that there's a different experience there. So, that, gives brownie points for me. So I did enjoy that part. Otherwise, I wasn't in a rush to go back and play this game. Like, I could go back and complete the Pokedex. I like kind of doing, going through the Pokedex, looking where an area where I can catch it, and then trying to catch it there, and then trade in whatever else I'm missing. But, I'm playing Halo right now. I'm playing Pokemon Unite still, and I just think my time can be spent better in other games than Brilliant Diamond. So, I don't know if people are looking for, like, a number rating. If you want one out of 10, I'd probably give this a 7, like just at least a solid 7. I don't think they refreshed this game as much as they could have. I think it was just literally just a visual art style change, an aesthetic change, rather than let's change up most of the story beats. Let's change up most of the game mechanics. Sure, they did Elite Four. Maybe they felt like they had to, but I wish they kind of did that too, or that same concept that's changing it up to a lot of different areas in the game. Well, that's how I feel about it. So take it for what you will. Again, that is just my experience. I'm sure your experience. If you have a lot more positives to say, please, by all means, share it with me down in your comment section, or email it to me, or tweet it out to me, whatever the case may be. I would love to hear it. I would love to read it. So I just kind of wish it's just Gen 4 wasn't my first initial game, so I don't have that same, emotions that, people that did start off with Gen 4 did. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up there. And I know this is another short episode, and I know you haven't heard from me in a couple weeks. Happy belated Thanksgiving, by the way. Obviously, with family around, couldn't do it that week. And then just another week went by where I got really busy with a lot of things. And, I don't want to keep making this excuse of I'm still new to podcasting, blah, 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 whatever. I do want to get better at this. I still do want to build some more consistency. But I think me having these episodes out initially, starting it this year, was a good eye-opener for me and on how I wanted to kind of approach things in the future. So, moving forward into 2022, I am planning out certain things that I kind of maybe, do a new outline, do new sort of a purpose for this podcast. I kind of want to try new things. And so for me to kind of break out of my comfort shell to even do these episodes, I think that's rewarding enough for me. And I'm sorry if that doesn't, I know these podcasts are supposed to be for you guys and to listen to us, and you want to hear our takes and everything. And I promise you that I will get to that point. But for me, being really shy and don't think that anyone really wants to hear my opinions, and seeing the numbers that come in and people listening to me, I think for me, this was a big step for me. And I can't wait to keep walking forward with this, moving into 2022, and definitely, be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of make this more meaningful for a lot more people than just me kind of, having to use this as some sort of like voice platform to kind of vent out what I want to say. And I think probably that might be the route I want to go. I think I like taking just little bits of Pokemon content and just kind of talking my general thoughts. I kind of like to think that I'm just the average Joe, and most of you out there are the average Joe, right? You're not in, you don't have like a full time streaming job, right? You just have a typical standard job, whether it be office or your teacher or whatever. And so, someone who's in the Nintendo company, or someone who's, got sponsorships and stuff like that, it's kind of maybe sometimes hard to trust them. Maybe initially they didn't start off that way, but sponsorships do eventually get to people. Like, I don't have sponsorships. No one's reached out to me. So everything I say is just generally how I feel about things. And I think the more honest people are, I think the better people feel about communicating. All right. I think I went into a little bit deeper than I wanted to. So again, ending it there. Let's go ahead and end it as we usually do with the Pokedex Trivia, where I read to you a Pokedex entry from any of the Pokemon games for a mysterious Pokemon that you have to guess. Now, of course, I do not tell you which game it's from, but I do try to give you a couple hints to kind of get you to guess what the Pokemon may be. And to come to think of it, if I did this Pokemon already, I apologize. I really do have to kind of keep a list of a Pokemon that I've already used. I started typing one up, but then I never finished it. So again, if we've done this before, I'm very sorry, and I'll make it up in one of the later episodes because I am going to go back and backlog some of the stuff. So here we go. Here is your Pokedex entry for this episode. With quick movements, it chases down its foes, attacking relentlessly with its horns until it prevails. Now, Pokemon with horns, that does kind of narrow down the pool a bit, but this one may not be so obvious right away with that comment. This is a dual type, and it does have the hidden ability Quick Feet. And what else can I say about it? It is a stage 2 Pokemon, so it is the final evolution of a 3-step evolution, or a 3-step Pokemon line. What else can I say? This Pokemon has another hidden ability. So I will kind of clarify this one. The Quick Feet hidden ability is in Gen 5. The standard hidden ability that it has is Speed Boost. I'm trying to think what else I could give you. I think that's pretty much it. This does have spots or ovals on its shell. And there's another hint for you too, a shell. Or exoskeleton, I should say. Alright, I'll leave the clues there. I'll read the Pokedex entry one more time, and then I'll give you what the answer is. With quick movements, it chases down its foes, attacking relentlessly with its horns until it prevails. Alright, go ahead and lock in your guess. Here we go. It is none other than number 545, Scolipede, the bug and poison type Pokemon. What else is also, doesn't it have every Pokemon has a tagline or whatever, like the bug Pokemon or the electric mouse Pokemon. I can't quite recall what it is, and I don't think Bulbapedia has it right away. But Scolipede is our Pokemon for this episode. I really do like Scolipede, and I'm trying to think why. I'm trying to think what made me kind of grow more to Scolipede, and I don't think it's because of Pokemon Masters, because Roxanne, I think her name is Roxanne, has Scolipede, but I could have sworn I've used Scolipede somewhere else. But I think it's a cool design. What is it? One of those late levels? Evolves from Whirlipede starting at level 30. No, it is early because it is a bug type. It's a very cool poison Pokemon to use. I think if I had a fully poisoned Pokemon team, I would definitely want to include Scolipede. Just it seems aggressive initially, and obviously I'm speaking on terms that I have not used this Pokemon really that competitive at all. So, be what it will. Here are some trivia. Scolipede represents November in the Unova horoscope. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they do these Pokemon horoscope things. Despite the Scolipede and Centiskorch evolutionary families living in different parts of the Galar region, both Venipede and Scolipede's Pokedex entries speak of their hostile relationship with the latter family. That's kind of cool. I like that there's Pokemon rivalries, you got Zangoose and Seviper. What's another one? It's leaving my head. Excelgor and Carablast, right? Because you have Shelmet Shelmet and Carablast. Those are the basic forms, and you have Excelgor and Excavalier. That's what it is. So I like the fact that there are rivalries. It just kind of makes the world seem a little bit more real. And that's it. Those are the only two. Those are the only two pieces of trivia that we have. Like I said, overall, Scolipede, okay in my book. I don't know what its shiny is like. I almost want to say is it just like a red? I could look up on Cerebi, which, yeah, it is just like a solid red with blue rings, which does look kind of cool. But, alright, we'll wrap it up there. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for listening to my little rambles of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Much appreciated. If you ever want to get a hold of me, you can reach me on social media through my Twitter and Instagram at SpartanStrike07. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube, leave me comments on videos at SpartanStrike07 as well. Or if you want to write to me an email any given point in time, whether it's to leave feedback, if you have any questions, want to give me a discussion point to talk about, you can reach me at spartanstrike07@gmail.com. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys soon. I believe my next episode I'm going to touch on and kind of go over Pokemon Go's Season of Heritage, because there's a couple of things I want to bring up about that. And yeah, that's what I'll leave for the next episode. So again, thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate your patience. And I'll speak to you next time where we can talk about everything and anything Pokemon.